Well, we did it on the Saturday evening. Yesterday on the Friday night, we hit Master Rank 3, and after about 2 hours tonight on the Saturday evening, when I actually have some time because I'm not, swamped with work, we were able to sit down and play a couple of matches, and it took us a few tries, but we did eventually end up ranking up into Master Rank 2 on a 4-win streak to hit it there. But it was not easy. I think we invested a total of like 2 hours, so it definitely wasn't as easy as last season. Definitely was not as easy as the Diamond run. But part of me really just wants to switch over to Purrely because, I mean, it's playing a deck like Floowandereeze where it's so heavily nerfed, and facing up against a deck like Purrely, it's just like you can't win. It's almost impossible if you don't set up your floodgates against them, and even then they might have outs to it. So again, not complaining. This is what the game is. This is what Konami does. They release a deck at full power. They nerf the other deck so that that deck can be the #1 deck, and that's how they govern their game. So if you don't like it, just don't play the game. But we're going to take a look at some of these matches, and hopefully you guys appreciate the grind because this was not easy for me, not like last season. So with Purrely being the most common deck on the ladder, if you go second against it and they set up, you might as well just scoop because it's very hard, almost borderline impossible to out their cards because the Noir has 2 to 3 bounces, it's unaffected, and their follow-up with the My Friend is just it's GG's if you can't win, and Floowandereeze doesn't OTK. So there's a number of decks that Purrely just auto wins against if it sets up, and Floowandereeze is definitely one of them. You can win, don't get me wrong, but it is very hard. In this instance, we are going first, and surprise, surprise, I prefaced this match with that talk about Purrely because the opponent is indeed playing Purrely. We do have a decent setup though because we do have the unexplored wins. We do have the M pin, which doesn't really do anything because everything comes out in defense anyways. We do have the Advent of Adventure, which could play a critical role in dodging a beauty negate or recycling our M pin during the opponent's turn when we activate Dreaming Town, so we can get 2 tributes off of the unexplored wins, because we can banish the M pin and then search for the Toucan and bring back the M pin with the Toucan. So the opponent, again, on Purrely, My Friend, of course, going for the delicious, pretty standard play here. They're going to activate Happiness, target the My Friend, and bring out a Purrely. Purrely grabs the field spell. This doesn't really affect us because we don't really target, only the Ryza targets basically. So the Ryza won't be able to target a monster. That's special summon, that's basically it. But obviously field spell is ridiculous. Being able to constantly attach materials, keep your Noir beefed up on materials is so broken. This deck is so broken. And I've seen your comments about people quitting the game, and honestly guys, like, I might take a break from the game too. Keep saying that a lot. Actually, I don't think I've actually said that, because even when tier limits came to the game and I played Floowandereeze and Floowandereeze had a good matchup, I didn't mind and Floowandereeze wasn't nearly as nerfed as it is now, obviously too. But like this is just not fun to play against. Anyways, when they summon the Purrely and activate the effect, I have to do this because I have to anticipate that they have a beauty, a pretty memory to make beauty, and beauty will negate a card here. So it was a little bit of a risk to let this activate, but when they do activate it, I figured the only reason they would activate this is if they have the beauty, and I know I can play around it because I have the Advent of Adventure here. But you do have to worry about Droll and Lockbird and things like that, right, with Purrely, so that's always a consideration. So sure enough, they do go for the beauty, and then the new chain link will start, Eaglin will activate, and then Robina, because the opponent has no trigger effects, even though they're priority player. Then their chainable effects activate, and they're going to chain beauty to quick effect negate the Eaglin, which would normally end the summoning there and make them win the game, but thankfully we had the Advent of Adventure to banish the Eaglin, because the beauty has to target to negate the effect. It doesn't just negate the effect, because if it was that, like negate the effect like Appaloosa, and it did not target, it would have negated the Robina effect because it was the last on the chain link, right? So again, chain blocking there matters. The Advent of Adventure plays around targeted negates, and the chain block with the banished bird plays around just a generic negate that doesn't target but will negate the last thing on the chain. So I've gone over that before in the past, but that's why that's important to know. So with the beauty negate used up, thank God it's once per turn, we're going to go ahead and cycle through, and we actually go for Snarl, and here you can see the effect of Snarl. We have to get the My Friend Purrely off the field first, because they'll just get follow-up off of that, and it's, especially during their turn, you just give them back 3 spells and they just activate an infinite amount again, so you absolutely have to do that. And this is where, when Floowandereeze goes first, Snarl has a lot of utility because it plays around the street because it doesn't target. It will flip all the special summon monsters face down, but obviously we haven't used Snarl effect yet because we just used the Dreaming Town effect, which flips down the every monster, including the normal summon. So the opponent activates Triple Tactics Talent, which again, another card that's insane for Purrely, that they can play 3 of easily. And then they draw 2 instead of trying to take one of my monsters, because that makes sense, there's no point in taking. And they didn't draw their out, and they end up scooping there. They did play 1 Dark Ruler when I checked their deck list, so I guess that's what they were fishing for, maybe for next turn. But yeah, I don't really know what they could have drawn to help them play through, because they had limited materials left, and we still had the Snowl banish to flip face down. So that's how you beat Purrely. Just go first and draw the nuts. All right, in our next match here, fantastic, you know, going second, and our hand is an absolute brick. So this one won't take long. I just want to show you guys that, yeah, this does happen to me as well. And even when we try to shifter the Nadir Servant, the opponent has the Gamos, so they have the busted nuts. We have absolutely nothing. Why am I staying in this match? I should just, you know, back out now. The opponent has full Labrynth setup, even the turn 1, big welcome. Yeah, you know, why am I in this match here? I'm down 2 cards in my opening hands. I'm completely bricked. They know I'm on Floowandereeze. What's the point? Draw Robina, still doesn't do anything. Jack in the hand. Why am I attempting to play here, guys? Am I insane? Yeah, sometimes I'm so stubborn. What's the point? I think I would scoop it up here, definitely, right? Because there's no... Yeah, okay. I guess I'm just trying to make sure the opponent knows how to play the game. But yeah, I mean, they you know, Master Rank, World Championship Qualifier, they should know what they're doing. Alright, I'm including this one for educational purposes because it is very important to take note of when you go first against Vaylantz, because you might think, you know, if you set up with the Floowandereeze cards, especially with the Fossil Dyna, you have an auto win against Vaylantz. That is definitely not the case. The reason why it's nice is because the Patchy will play around the Lava Golem, so they can't tribute your field off. But even though we get full setup here, you do have to be aware of the Vaylantz field spells because they are very tricky, and the way that the Vaylantz monsters work here. So you're going to see we get an amazing setup. Yes, we do have to worry about it evenly, but once we see the opponent play Vaylantz, we know, okay, we don't have to worry about evenly here. They out my field spell for their own field spell. Be very aware of this, okay? It doesn't matter which one is activated in which field, because both of these say the turn player can do it, right? So the Shinra Bansho says, if there are 2 cards in the field zone, the turn player can target 1 monster card in their own spell and trap zone and special summon it. Okay, so we don't have to worry about that because they can't special summon because of the Fossil Dyna. They play around the normal summon, you know, and triggering my map because they out it with the Vaylantz cards, right? So they normal summon the Voltage, and I took about 60 seconds to 90 seconds to read through everything, and thank God I did, because if I didn't, I would have lost this match. This one, on my side of the field, says if there are 2 cards in the field zones, which there are, the turn player, so the opponent is the turn player, they can activate my field spell, this Vaylantz World Koenig Wissen. Target 1 effect monster in the opponent's main monster zone in the same column as one of the monsters they control. So the turn player can target 1 effect monster in the opponent's main monster zone in the same column as one of the monsters they control. So they normal summon the Voltage Viscount to the same column as the Fossil Dyna. Okay, now, you know, they don't have to worry about Magnificent Map, so they can just straight up beat over this, right? They did not attempt to go battle phase here. When they normal summon this, I have to activate this, and thank goodness I did, because I know these cards shift around and they have effects when they shift. So thank goodness I knew that, because reading these cards fully made me understand that I had to do this. Okay, so if they do that, they target the Fossil Dyna. The Wissen says, okay, they can place that opponent's monster face up as a continuous spell in the same spell and trap zone in the same column. Okay, if the zone is occupied, destroy the occupying card. So even if I had like one of these cards here, it would have just destroyed it. But they could have essentially put the Fossil Dyna down here and then just gone full combo and OTK me, right? So because I have the secondary normal summon here, I'm going to be able to use the Dreaming Town, chain block the Eaglin Search for the Ryza, normal summon Toucan so I can play around the potential Ash that they drew for turn, because we're under Shifter. When they activated field spell, my map got banished, and then tribute for the Ryza and spin back their normal summon, which puts them on. You need another way to out my Fossil Dyna now, aside from battle. They don't have it and they scoop. That was very tricky, so like I said, reading the cards won me that game. Alright, well, I guess this is the way the game is supposed to be, a little bit of back and forth. Our opening hand is technically a brick, but all we need is a bird to play. However, the opponent starts off going first with Purrely, And they have the Sleepy Memory Discarding Delicious, which is absolutely insane. Grab the off the Purrely, grab the My Friend, and I end up giving them Field Spell, I guess, because they reveal one Field Spell, a Sleepy, and a Yeep. I was hoping to give them Yeep, and maybe they would try to Yeep, and then I could Eclipse. That was like my only way to potentially come back. But off of the Plump, they're going to get at least 2 draws during my turn, because, or 3 draws now, because they can attach the last Sleepy with Street, they can attach the Sleepy Engrave with Plump, and then they have a Sleepy already attached because they had one in hand, so absolutely insane. Yep, they're going to get all the effects off, go straight up into the Noir, why wait, and then just end with 1 card in hand, but attach for a 7th material. And they've got triple Sleepy, which is triple draw during my turn. And look at that, we draw the Robina, the best possible draw, right? No, actually. We're going to go ahead and activate map, and sure enough, the opponent is going to spin it back. We activate Robina, and they draw Ash because, yep, they draw 3 during my turn. We can't do anything there. We just go Battle Phase Beat over Purrely. No point in going for Advent here because we already tried to use Map Effect, and they were smart and waited for Map Effect to be activated. But if, and even if we did, we bring Map and do what? You have no bird to summon, right? We can't go for another bird because we can't continue to normal summon. And this is why Purrely, like Konami, like what? Like, I don't understand how you let this deck. Like, what is the design of this deck? It's so dumb. Oh, just reattach more materials. So now you got 3 bounces and your card is still a Towers. That's unaffected by activated effects. And you still have My Purrely for follow-up, Field Spell to make sure that you can resolve everything you want when you summon it. And yeah, you have all the effects on the Purrely, on the X-Purrely Noir. So just suck up the cards and do whatever you want. And there's no point in staying in the game. So yeah, as soon as you see them set this up, guys, if you're on Floowandereeze, you might as well just scoop. Don't save the time. There is a chance though that Purrely bricks. I did beat a Purrely player going first. They bricked and we were able to beat them. So just wait to see them set up, and if they set up, just scoop. Like this, there's no point in playing this game if that's the case.